Here we are right back again. This is Legacy of Leaders. I'm your host, Jamar Suber. And as you know, every day I talk to amazing business owners who push us to go higher. And today I'm with Warren Buck of Future Finders. Welcome to the show, Warren.
Thanks very much. It's nice to be here, Jamar.
So listen, man, in a world where everyone are giving up on teams and all these other things, here comes along Future Finders. Tell us about your business.
I love that setup, Jamar, because that's what I do here is that the kids today, we're worried about them. We don't know where they're going, but I'm here to tell you that there's some amazing stories out there. And that's what Future Finders does, is helps unravel those wonderful stories that are out there to tell. Yeah. Because kids have all the potential in the world. They want to do great things with their life, but they're in an environment where there is an overwhelming number of choices. And going through all those choices can be absolutely paralyzing when you're trying to figure out your future and figure out how to be a kid. You know, just have a good time in high school, enjoy your friends, get all the experiences that you're supposed to. So Future Finder steps in and helps with that research and helps kids figure out what the next step is after high school, puts the parents' mind at ease, reduces the stress in the household so that everybody feels like they're moving forward in a way that's really productive, conflict-free, and hopefully a lot less stress involved.
Yeah. So when it comes to the type of kids or families you work with, do you have a cap in age? Is an age too early? Tell us about that.
Honestly, I start working with kids right around their freshman year of high school. That's what I have found is the most comfortable floor. That's when eyes really start turning towards the future. But I've had clients that I'm working with up until their mid-20s as they're working through different transition periods in their life. For instance, I started with a new client yesterday that just finished his master's program in accounting at the University of Florida. He thought the job that he had lined up for the past few years was going to be the one, but it fell through. So now we're shuffling and trying to find him that next step in his future. So really any of those transition points, or even the kids that haven't figured out how to transition yet, you know, someone that is stuck at home and is what they're calling failure to launch. We can kind of help with that process of getting them launched.
Wow, that's great. So you're building some lifelong relationships here.
That's the foundation of what I do. Yeah. You know, as a former principal, as a former teacher, you really realize that to get to kids and to get them to learn and to grow, you've got to build that relationship. That's got to come first. You know, like we were talking about, you know, I work with parents, I work for parents, but at the end of the day, if I'm not working for those kids and building the relationships with them, not really going to get anywhere. So I do put a big emphasis on that and really listening to the kids and not coming in with a mindset that you need to do this. I'm listening to them and hearing what they want to do, and then matching my service to what they want to do.
Man, I think that's amazing. You mentioned you were a principal and a teacher.
Yeah.
Tell us about the transition. So I'd imagine you left education and started this business. What was that thing for you that made you want to get into this area?
So after I left being a principal, I worked in the nonprofit sector for a little while, got an opportunity to work for an organization called City Year, which is a gap year program where students can come and do a year of community service after they graduate to make some money and to really figure out what they want to do. What I really fell in love with City Year was working with the core members once they were in the organization to plan for life after City Year. I went into that with an approach of, let's just see what you want to do, and really seeing the kids respond to somebody listening to them about what they want to do and doing the legwork for them really made me think, you know, there's something to this. There's probably a lot of kids that are stuck out there thinking they have to do this or they have to do that, or they absolutely don't know. And they just need somebody that knows how to do the legwork for them. You know, I'm an old guy compared to these kids, so I know how to navigate things quicker. I have a bunch of connections. I know how to connect them to opportunities, resources, the people you need, because a lot of times, as you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
That's
and this old guy knows a lot more people than your average 18-year-old.
That's it, yeah. So as we go ahead and move towards wrapping up, I need you to do something for me.
Sure.
You know, there are a lot of parents watching and children and parents who are frustrated and tough relationships.
Yep.
What are some of the things parents need to keep top of mind when navigating these tough times with kids? That's 17, 18, 19, that time frame. What are some of the things they need to keep in mind?
So I would say there's two main things. As parents, we create the weather. That was a phrase that I borrowed from my time teaching. I used to always tell my teachers, you make the weather in your classroom with the attitude that you bring and the way that you approach these difficult times. The kids are going to look at you and respond in the way that you respond. So they're going to mimic your behavior at all times. Yeah. And I think the second thing that I would remind people is that a lot of the times when we get frustrated with kids because they're not doing what we think they should do, it's not a matter of want to, it's a matter of skill. Yeah. A lot of the times they don't know how to do the things that we take for granted that they know how to do. So approaching things as a skill deficit, as things that can be taught and learned, is such a great way to approach it, because then that's when you build the relationship, where you take the kid aside and say, let me show you how to do that. This is how I would do it. Now you practice it with me. And instead of approaching it as, why don't you know this? You're approaching it as, let me show you how to do this. Yeah. Let me lift you up and give you the skills that you need to be successful.
Yeah. Man, Warren, thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate you coming on and talking.
It was a good talk.
Absolutely. If you want to learn more about Future Finders, log on to dailynewsnetwork.com. You've just watched Legacy of Leaders, and I'm your host, Jamar Suber.